Dear friends, one of the most wonderful things about humanity is its ability to adapt to many different climates and regions around the world. We can live in deserts, forests, highland plains, and even on remote islands. However, not all lands are equal. Obviously, living on an iceberg or in the desert would be much more difficult than living in a bustling city with full amenities, which explains why some countries around the world has many advantages over other countries in socio-economic development. Geographical advantages also help many countries with natural defense systems avoid invasion. Today we introduce to you 9 countries that we think have the best geographical advantages globally. Here are 10 brief descriptions of the countries with the most strategic geographical locations on Earth. Turkey. We all know that Turkey was once a giant empire that was a famous Ottoman kingdom in history. This is a country with most of its territory in West Asia and a small part in East Asia. Southern Europe with an area of about 783 x 5,000 km2. Turkey is surrounded by the countries of Greece, Bulgaria, Georgia, Armenia, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. For many years Turkey has always been considered the most strategically located country in the world with its territory. The territory extends 1,600 kilometers from east to west, serving as a road bridge between Asia and Europe. Although it does not own much oil, Turkey is a transit point for the most important resource on the planet. The country has a gas pipeline from Russia to Eastern Europe completed in 2020. Turkey is also a country that imports oil from the Middle East through oil pipelines for transshipment to European countries and many other countries. Besides, this country owns the Bosphorus and Dardanelles Straits that help connect the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea, playing an extremely important role in maritime trade across continents, in which the Bosphorus Strait is small and narrow but has a large volume. 3 or 4 times more ships pass through this strait than the Suez Canal and 5.4 times the Panama Canal. Because of this bustle, the city of Istanbul, where the Bosphorus Strait crosses, has become one of the largest cities in Europe, contributing more than 60% of export value and 1/3 of the country's GDP. Turkey's position is also very important militarily and politically. Controlling 2 strategic straits is like holding special privileges that can prevent warships of other countries from circulating in the Black Sea. This sea area has always been a global geopolitical hotspot where Russia constantly increases its military power to protect its economic interests. The US and NATO have always intervened strongly to impose influence in this area. Therefore, since 1936, an agreement on the control of the Bosphorus and Dardanelles Straits has been born, called the Convention, which seeks to regulate the circulation of civilian ships and the control of naval warships. And Turkey plays an important role in implementing this convention. Turkey has always been one of the countries that invests the most in defense in the world. The country also has almost all types of military weapons from guns, missiles, electronic devices to tanks, aircraft, and submarines. Warships. Turkey is ranked 8th in the world in terms of military power. 2. United States, country with possibly the best geography on Earth. The United States is a country in the Western Hemisphere consisting of 50 contiguous states on the North American continent, along with Alaska Peninsula in the northwestmost tip of North America and Hawaii an archipelago in the Pacific. The United States shares a border with Canada, Mexico, and a body of water with Russia. The United States is known as a country that cannot be invaded because it has a natural defense system including 2 huge oceans, the Rocky Mountains and many deserts in the south. The United States has covered all types of landforms and climates, including tropical weather in Florida, deserts in the southwest, tropical forests in the northwest, plains in the interior, mountains in the east and west, and temperate forest climate in the east. Regarding geographical advantage, the United States is too far away from countries capable of participating in partial and comprehensive war such as China, India, EU group, to attack the United States. The problem of landing is a difficult problem. With every other country, multi-purpose armies must fight in the Utah Desert, Hawaii Beach, and the icy hell of Alaska to be able to invade this country of over 10 million square kilometers. This is by far completely impossible. The United States has a huge amount of agricultural land to be almost completely self-sufficient and has been an exporter for the past few centuries with very high productivity in the U.S. And they also have the added advantage of the Mississippi River, the factor that truly turned America into the modern superpower it is today. The Mississippi River Basin is one of the largest waterway systems on the planet, located almost entirely within the United States with a network of rivers and streams crowded around. Many major American cities are located on the Mississippi River Basin. The development that this river brings is a valuable natural treasure that helped early America become the modern industrial power it is today. 3. China. Like the United States, there is another country that also contains almost all geographical climates, that is the giant country of China. China has mountains in the south, flat terrain in the north and rugged terrain in the west. In fact, to the west is the Tibetan Plateau, the highest region on Earth, where only about 3 million people live. To the north of this plateau are the Gobi Desert and the Karakoram Mountains, making most of the population only concentrated in the east of China, the North China Plain, the middle and lower Yangtze River Delta. The Sichuan region is one of the most populous regions of China. And perhaps unsurprisingly to the rest of the world, the east is also where most of China's industrial production takes place and is also an area with vast agricultural land to feed its huge population. More fortunately, China has 3 important river basins, the Yellow River and the Pearl River. The Yellow River in the north nourishes the North China Plain, and although the political center of Beijing is not actually on the Yellow River, it is still located on the North China Plain. Down to the south is the Yangtze River. This is the largest river area in China with many branches flowing into the sea, creating rich lands in China with many cities such as Chongqing, Wuhan, and Shanghai. Under the southern mountains there is the Pearl River. Guangzhou and Hong Kong are located at the source of this river. These rivers are the main reason why Chinese civilization was born and China was able to easily unify the country very early. 4. Panama. Dear friends, Panama's official name is the Republic of Panama. This is a country located at the narrowest point of Central America with an area of over 75.4 km². This country is bordered by Costa Rica to the west, Colombia to the southeast, the Caribbean Sea to the north and the Pacific Ocean. In the south, the Republic of Panama is very fortunate to own the Panama Canal, which plays an extremely important role in the field of international shipping, helping to connect the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. The canal has helped Panama have a stable source of revenue, sitting cool and eating a bowl of gold with billions of dollars each year, and the canal also helps ships save time and money because they do not have to go around South America. Thanks to its favorable geographical location and the Panama Canal, the country of Panama is one of the major transit markets in the world with the second largest duty-free bonded warehouse globally, the largest in the Americas, and open policies. Ventilation creates good conditions for international trade. All transactions in this area use US dollars. Currently there are more than 2,000 office companies in the free trade zone on a total area of about 1,000 hectares. Trade exchanges are worth more than 10 billion US dollars per year, of which imports account for 45% and re-export accounts for 55%. This duty-free zone annually contributes 7.5 GDP to Panama. Panama also plays a role as a financial center in Latin America, providing investment capital credit, international payment loans, and insurance for economic and trade activities of regional and world markets. Iran. Iran, or the Islamic Republic of Iran, is a sovereign country in West Asia with an area of over 168,000 square kilometers, and is surrounded by the countries Iraq, Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan and Pakistan. Although Iran is currently one of the countries subject to the most sanctions and embargoes in the world, in terms of geopolitics, Iran has the greatest influence in the Middle East. Besides, Iran is also controlling the Strait of Hormuz, a strategic and extremely important sea route located at the end of the Gulf, with the northern shore being Iran, the southern shore being Oman and the United Arab Emirates. According to the U.S. Energy Agency, this strait plays a more important role than the Malacca Strait in Southeast Asia. When looking on the map, we can see that this strait is not too wide, with a length of about 167 kilometers and a width of about 167 kilometers, ranging from 39 to 96 kilometers. This is the world's largest crude oil transportation route when about one-third of liquefied natural gas production and one-fourth of the world's total oil production pass through this strait. Although the strait is shared by two countries, Oman and Iran, but the Oman side has many islands and reefs, therefore, almost all ocean-going ships must pass through Iran's territorial waters. Due to the importance of Iran's geographical position, any blockade or blockage in the Hormuz Strait will causing extremely serious consequences for the world economy and becoming the focus of the confrontation between Iran and the US and the West. The Strait of Hormuz was the site of conflict during the 1980-1988 Iran-Iraq War. In 2011 Iran threatened blocking the Hormuz Strait when Western countries embargoed related to the country's nuclear program. If the Hormuz Strait is blocked, the world oil market will definitely be affected. Oil prices will be pushed to peak levels. Although Iran's territory is mainly arid desert, this country has an effective natural defense. To the west is the Armenian Plateau, to the north is the Amur mountain range, to the north is the Caspian Sea and the Persian Gulf. Economically, Iran is located in the middle of the Middle East. West Asia has the potential to become a trading and open country, expanding their influence abroad as they did in the past with the success of the Persian Empire. It can be seen that Iran is both the easiest country to defend in the world but has the ability to become a commercial power in the true sense thanks to its geographical location. 6. Egypt. Dear friends, Egypt, officially known as the Arab Republic of Egypt, is an intercontinental country with most of its territory located in North Africa along with the Sinai Peninsula in West Asia. Egypt bordering the Mediterranean Sea, bordering the Gaza Strip, the Gulf of Aqaba, the Red Sea and the countries of Israel, Sudan, and Libya. Currently, Egypt is the country that controls the Suez Canal with a length of over 193 kilometers, helping to connect the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea of the Indian Ocean. The canal provides a shortcut at sea for ships traveling from the Atlantic Ocean through the Mediterranean to the Red Sea and then across the Indian Ocean or vice versa. Thanks to the Suez Canal, the sea route from London, England to Mumbai, India has been shortened by nearly 12,000 kilometers. The giant artificial Suez project has had a strong impact on the development of trade not only in Egypt but throughout the world. Suez Canal revenue has helped Egypt gain an additional $10 billion in 2023. 7. Singapore. Singapore is in the top 20 smallest countries in the world with an area of just over 728 km2. For comparison, Hanoi City alone is 4.6 times larger than Singapore's area, especially 25% of the land area. What Singapore has is thanks to reclamation of the sea. Jurong Island is home to factories of many large petrochemical companies. Changi Airport and Tuas Transshipment Port are all built on reclaimed land. Why can a small island nation with no resources like Singapore become prosperous so quickly and play an important role in the global economy? The answer is that Singapore holds a strategic geographical position located right on the Malacca Strait, one of the busiest straits in the world, located between the island of Malaysia and Sumatra Island stretching 930 kilometers in the northwest-east direction. Early mail trade activities in this area have been very developed. Singapore for coordinating goods going from Europe, India, Africa to East Asia. Each year, approximately 70,000 ships pass through Malacca, accounting for about one-third of the world's goods. About 30% of the world's oil passes through this strait. This has made Singapore's ports extremely important. Of course, strategic location is a necessary condition, but Egypt or Panama also have equally important transportation routes but cannot take full advantage of these advantages. These countries often encounter problems such as political instability, corruption. On the contrary, Singapore maintains a stable political system, an open economy and effective public services. The late Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, who steered the country from 1959 to 1990, transformed Singapore from a world-class nation. The Third World rose to the First World in just one generation. Singapore recently surpassed Hong Kong to become Asia's leading financial center. After protests and unrest in Hong Kong, investors sought a safer option than Singapore. 8. India. This is a map of the Republic of India, a South Asian country surrounded by Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, especially the Himalayas in the north, Ladies and gentlemen, India is a country with the 7th largest area in the world, although only about 1/3 the size of China. This South Asian country has a population of up to 1.45 billion people and is the most populous country on the planet. India has an important position in the Indian Ocean, the 3rd largest ocean after the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. India has more than 2,000 kilometers of coastline. The Indian Ocean frontage possesses 2 archipelagos, Andaman and Nicobar, located on the sea route connecting South Asia with Southeast Asia. India's geographical location is a geographical map that greatly affects the maritime routes from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Economically, India is currently the 5th largest economy in the world after America, China, Japan and Germany, and is predicted by experts to become the world's 3rd largest economy by 2030. India is also considered a military power, one of the countries possessing nuclear weapons and the world's leading military force. India has always stated its goal of keeping sea routes clear. The open Indian Ocean region, the Indian Navy's presence in the seas and multilateral exercises with Pacific nations and Indian Ocean island nations have a significant impact on maritime security in the region, thanks to its location advantage. Geography, in which India plays a balance of power role in the Indo-Pacific security architecture, in the context of China's strong economic and military rise. India's economic and political rise makes an important contribution to creating a balance of power in the region and breaking China's monopoly. RIPE, Argentina. If judged solely on geography, Argentina would be one of the richest countries on Earth. Argentina possesses one of the best lands in the world, surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean to the east, and the Andes Mountains in the west are also a fortified natural boundary. However, Argentina's real strength is its river system. Argentina's incredible river system is at least the northern rivers where most of the country's population and production are concentrated. Very outstanding. Major rivers in Argentina include the Pilcomayo, Paraguay, Bermeja, Colorado, Rio Negro, Salado, Uruguay, and the largest river, Parana. The Parana River and Uruguay River join together before emptying into the Atlantic Ocean at the mouth of the Rio de la Plata. The most important river in the region, this effectively gives Argentina control over much of the South American basin. It also helps that Argentina and its capital, Buenos Aires, have the largest and richest agricultural land. The river is a great waterway because you can take a boat on it much more economically than by road transport. Argentina's fertile land and waterways have facilitated the export of abundant agricultural products. Unfortunately, in history, wrong political decisions have caused Argentina to lose its advantage and no longer be a great power. World country. But if geography was the only factor that determined whether a country was rich or poor, Argentina would be one of the richest countries on Earth. And coming here, many people must be wondering whether Vietnam is among the top countries with natural conditions and a leading position in the world. Join us to learn more right here. Although Vietnam is not large in territory, due to its strategic geographical position and rich natural resources, it often has to fight against invaders. Vietnam has had to face many empires in history many times. Invaders are many times stronger than us, like China, Mongolia, Japan, France, America. Now look at the map of Vietnam's defense system, which is quite difficult to penetrate, with the Hoang Linh Sun Range in the north, the Truong Sun Range in the west, where there are dense forests and steep cliffs. Vietnam also has rivers, but its natural defense has been raised to a new level. Feudal states have repeatedly promoted their advantages in naval warfare, typically the victory on the Bac Dang River. Similarly, many of the patriotic wars that resulted in Vietnam's resounding victories were carried out using the guerrilla fighting style, a fighting style suitable to Vietnam's rugged, mountainous, and interlaced natural terrain. Vietnam also owns the 2 most important deltas in Southeast Asia, the Red River Delta in the north and the Mekong Delta in the south. This is a densely populated place with political and agricultural activities. The 2 largest cities in the country, Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, are both located on these deltas, especially the Mekong Delta. The land is rich and full of mangrove forests, which are extremely important for agriculture and transportation. Vietnam's waterways are also receiving goods to Laos and Cambodia. Vietnam is located in a vital position, a bridge between 2 maritime and continental economic regions of Southeast Asian countries, First, with the advantage of facing the East Sea, Vietnam plays a key economic role and provides logistics services to other countries inside and outside the region. Secondly, Vietnam is located on the Trans-Asia Road route in the project to build a highway connecting Eurasian countries by the Asia-Pacific Socio-Economic Committee of the United States. The United Nations initiated. Vietnam is also located in the main axis of the East-West Economic Corridor connecting the Pacific and Indian Oceans, creating great potential for socio-economic development of countries in the Mekong sub-region and the region. With that advantage, Vietnam is increasingly attracting investment interest from many countries inside and outside the region. And dear friends, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hello and see you again.